everybody, it's Cass Kim here. I'm here to talk to you today about social media engagement. That was the item that won on the poll this week for the YouTube video. As you can see, I'm pretty decked out for fall, y'all. No, but for real, I decided to go full makeup today, just kind of to make the point that appearance does matter. Not necessarily your physical appearance, but how you present yourself is an important factor when you're looking at social media engagement. So, because I'm super excited about fall and we have Autumn Nights is out and it's already September, so we can actually start getting geeked out about fall and people can't get that upset about it, I'm here for it. So I'm going to make these kind of silly, goofy fall names for each tip today just because I'm so into it. All right, so number one, pumpkin spice post a latte. So because social media works on algorithms, if you're not posting regularly, you're not going to be shown as much. So we've all probably seen friends post things like, oh, I took a week off and now nobody's responding to my post. It's probably because they're not seeing them with the same regularity that they're seeing other people's posts that have been posting more. Also, most of us are following, thousands of people, if, maybe only hundreds for some of us, but the majority of people on social media have way more followers than they can read through in the 5 to 10 minutes that they're scrolling, right? So the more frequently you're posting, the more chances you have of interacting with more people. That doesn't necessarily mean just post random stuff, or like reposting your own post doesn't really help that much unless it's something very specific that you want a different group to see. So like for me, I have friends and followers that I interact with and people that I follow who are in the UK, people who are on the East Coast of the US, people who are on the West Coast of the US, and all of those people sleep at different times. They're at work at different times. And so if I post something at, 9 a.m. my time, that's usually like just after lunch most people's time, or in the middle of the night in the UK, I think. I'm not so good at my time frame for you guys, sorry. But it's not going to hit them the same as if I post right before I go to bed at 9 p.m. my time, right? So sometimes you can kind of hit different crowds by posting at different times as well. So if you find you're not getting a lot of engagement, try posting more frequently and try varying the times that you post during. So that's number one. Number two, don't be a Dickabod crane. All right, so that one's pretty self-explanatory, I think. I'm not saying you have to be the nicest person on the planet. I'm not even saying that you have to be fake nice. I'm just saying don't go around instigating arguments with people just to argue. Because even if you delete the post later, or even if it's only in other people's posts, people can still see your interaction. So, I mean, how many times have you been scrolling and you just see somebody's response to somebody else and you have no idea what's going on, but it's not a very flattering look, right? So I would just say keep in mind that everything you put on the internet is fair game for people to see and to unfortunately judge you by. And we all have bad days. I've certainly stuck my nose in situations that it probably didn't belong in. I would say, though, if you do get into a situation like that, to treat the other people like you would treat them in real life, right? I mean, we all know people are trolls on the internet sometimes. You're going to run into people who are going to get fired up. But just remember that you are still talking to another person, right? So you can't see on the internet people's tone of voice. You can't see their body language. So to you, it might be, oh, this is just like a friendly banter back and forth discussion, or it's just a debate because I'm the kind of person who likes to debate things with people. That might be your take on it. But the other person, when you can't see them, you might be thinking like, oh, I'm hanging out at the coffee shop, sipping my drink, just having a talk. And the other person's over there, white knuckle gripping the edge of the table, sitting up straighter every time you say something. And they're like really in their feels about it, right? So just try to keep in mind that as you're saying things, people might be misinterpreting your tone of voice, or you might be misinterpreting someone else's tone of voice. And if something does turn into like a disagreement that gets ugly, own up to it. Yes, it's okay to delete things sometimes, but I think it's most appropriate to delete after an apology. If you think that you said something bad enough that you need to delete it so your other followers don't see it, you owe whoever you said that to an apology. Be an adult, right? And hopefully they'll do the same thing. So number 1, pumpkin spice post a latte. Number 2, don't be a Dickabod crane. Number 3, hello, Gourd-geous. So this is just kind of saying to, if you see something that you like a gorgeous drawing or like a really cool VSS poem or like a little snippet of something that somebody shared and you liked it, say, hey, I liked that. Give them an emoji, give them a boost, a like, a retweet, something. I'm not saying just retweet everybody on your feed because that gets old pretty fast too. You have to have your own content. But if you see something that you like, take a moment and just say, yeah, I like that. Even if you don't feel like you have anything amazing and new to contribute to the conversation about the piece, just saying something nice is enough, because every time something gets a like and a comment, it boosts it up on the algorithm. So you're actually helping other artists when you make even just a simple comment like an emoji smiley face or something. So if you see something you like, say you like it. It doesn't hurt to spread the joy. Think about if somebody read your book, they liked it, and then they didn't say anything. And that we all know that happens a lot. We have way more readers than we have reviews. So think about it that way, even if you feel maybe a little social anxiety, like, oh, I don't know this person. How are they going to take it if I say something, or I don't have anything important to add to the conversation? Just think about the difference between somebody reading your work and not reviewing, and somebody reading your work and saying, I liked it. That's all it is. It's good, right? It makes you feel better, and it boosts your work for other people to see. And you can do that same thing for other people on social media just by hopping in their comments and giving them, that encouragement. If you like it, say it. Number 4, the best costume is authenticity. But for real, you want to be a genuine person. And I'm not saying you can't have a persona for your author accounts that you might not have for your personal accounts. I know a lot of people stay out of politics on their author accounts, which I think is probably a generally good idea, but I'm not saying it's a hard and fast rule, because I feel like for me personally, there are some things I can't just stand by and not say something about. But a lot of people like to keep their author stuff very writing related. And I think that's totally fine. When I say being you or the best costume is authenticity, what I mean is don't pretend to be I think we've all heard the story recently of some straight older white person who is pretending to be, I think, part of the lesbian community to write lesbian romance stories or something like that. And it's okay to write something that's maybe not in your experience, as long as you have sensitivity readers and you do it with respect. But it's a whole different thing to present yourself as a person in a way that is deceiving intentionally to gain audience, right? Eventually you're going to be found out, and it's not worth the backlash that you're going to receive. Additionally, it's not fair to those people who think that you're a genuine person that they're really connecting with, and you're not. That's just, it's a deep hole that you don't want to dig yourself into. And also, I think people realize when somebody is too polished or too shallow level, I guess. You'll see that the posts that people interact with a lot sometimes are very shallow, but I also think that when we offer parts of ourselves that are maybe a little bit more authentic and a little bit more vulnerable, people see that too, and that's going to be the followers that you can engage with, and those are going to be the followers that are more willing to buy your books. I've never bought somebody's book because they ask a question about what my MC's favorite color is. I have bought somebody's book because they engage with me on a personal level. So just be authentic, because I do think that makes a difference, but do so within a way that you still feel safe as well. Don't be giving out information that you're not comfortable giving out. You don't have to be vulnerable. You just have to be real. Okay. And then number 5, not too much hocus pocus. So what I would say there is, you do have to create content, right? Real, genuine content. It doesn't have to be soul shredding, oh, I'm open on the table for everybody to see content, but you do have to post some original stuff. So that means you can't just be constantly retweeting. You can't just be constantly doing writer's lift. You can't just be constantly doing polls or constantly asking random questions. Sometimes questions are a good way to get some initial engagement, maybe find out what kind of people you want to follow, who might follow you back. But if all you ever do is ask questions and then limitedly engage with the people who respond to them, like maybe you respond to the first 5, 10, 15, and then after that you're like, that's a lot of work. That's not going to be beneficial in the long run, because social media engagement is not necessarily about quantity so much as it is about quality. So you need to just be aware, I think, how much you're doing interacting versus attention seeking, if that makes sense. So just not too much hocus pocus, in the sense of you still have to have genuine interactions with other people. It can't just all be like writers lifts and retweets and, oh, I need a book to read, somebody send me one. So those are my 5 main tips for social media engagement. Something I will also say, though, is it's your right to use your account how you want to. So if people are telling you like, oh, you can't just block people who disagree with you, or, oh, you can't just mute people because we all need to have an understanding of differing opinions. I think, yes, we do have to be able to interact with people that we don't always 100% agree with. But I think more importantly, we have to make sure that our social media is a safe space for us. We don't need to interact with people who make us feel unsafe. And, I'm losing my phone here. And we don't need to interact with people who are going to be bad for our mental health. So you have the right to mute people. You have the right to block people. I don't think that anybody should be telling you that you can't. I would say be somewhat judicious in how you choose to do that, just because everybody has a bad day, right? There are some people that I've interacted with for quite a while that I don't necessarily agree with some of the things that they post, but that doesn't mean that I'm just going to automatically block them because their posts aren't harming me. I just choose not to engage in some of the posts that I don't agree with. But again, this is just my tips on social media. I'm certainly not somebody who considers themselves to be a guru. I actually only have 2 social media accounts. And I think sometimes having just 2 is good, because the more you have, the more time you have to sink into it. And it's really hard to have genuine interactions with people when you're trying to do that across like 4 or 5 different platforms. It kind of becomes a, look at me, look what I'm doing, not a, hey, how can we be a community? So those are my 5 tips. So pumpkin spice, post a latte. Don't be a Dickabod crane. Hello, Gourd-geous. Tell people when you like something. It never hurts to say something nice. And then the best costume is authenticity. So make sure that you're engaging in an authentic level and that you're not deceiving people for your own gain. And then number 5, not too much hocus pocus. So make sure that you are doing your own content as well as looking at, retweeting. And if you want to do writer's lifts, that's fine. I'm not telling you can't. I know a lot of people that mute that. I mute that myself because otherwise it just takes up my whole feed. And then if people do nothing but post questions, I personally mute them because I want to have real interactions with people. And when you get up past a couple thousand people that you're following, it gets really hard to find the real interactions within all of the other stuff that people are posting. So just make sure that your posts are not just all about sales and attention, but also that you seem like a human being that other people want to get to know, and that you can have real interactions with people. Okay, that's all. I hope you guys are loving your first week of September. Hopefully it's cooling off some places. I wish it was cooling off here. Somebody in a colder area have a bonfire for me, please. Okay, peace out, guys.